I'm standing in the back of St. Michael's Cathedral, wearing sunglasses and a black scarf, watching 300 people mourn my death. My death. There's my casket at the front, closed, obviously, because there's supposedly nothing left to bury after the horrific plane crash that incinerated my body. Except I'm not dead. I'm right here, and I'm listening to my fiancé, Daniel Morrison, give the most touching eulogy about how much he loved me. Avery was the light of my life, he says, his voice breaking perfectly. We were supposed to get married in 3 months. She was everything to me. He dabs at his eyes with a handkerchief. The crowd murmurs sympathetically. I watch him, study him, this man I thought I knew. Then I hear him whisper to someone in the front row, his business partner, Marcus. Just 2 words, but they change everything. It worked. My blood goes cold. It worked. Not, I miss her. Not, I can't believe she's gone. It worked. That's when I know. Daniel didn't just benefit from my death. He caused it. My name is Avery Chen. I'm 29 years old. I'm the CEO of Chen Aviation, a company worth $340 million. And 10 days ago, my fiancé sabotaged my plane to murder me for my money. He thinks he succeeded. He has no idea I survived. And by the time I'm done with him, he's going to wish I'd actually died in that crash. 3 weeks earlier, I'm in my corner office on the 42nd floor of Chen Cower in downtown Seattle, looking at wedding invitations. What do you think, the cream or the ivory? I ask my assistant, Sophie. Both are beautiful, but the ivory matches your dress better. Ivory, it is. I'm getting married in 3 months, June 15th, to Daniel Morrison, the man I've been dating for 2 years.
Daniel is 34, handsome, successful, runs his own investment firm, Morrison Capital, manages about $80 million in client assets. We met at a charity gala. He was charming, funny, attentive, said all the right things. I admire your independence, he'd said on our first date. Most women in your position would just live off their family money, but you actually run the company. I liked that he respected my work. Chen Aviation was my grandfather's company. Started in 1978, a small regional airline that eventually pivoted to private jet leasing and aviation consulting. My grandfather died when I was 23 and left the company to me. Not my older brother, not my cousins, me. Because I was the only one who cared about aviation, the only one who got a pilot's license, the only one who actually worked at the company during college instead of partying. I took over as CEO at 23, grew the company from $180 million to $340 million in 6 years. I was proud of that. Daniel proposed 6 months ago, bended knee at a restaurant, the whole romantic scene. I said yes. My best friend Mia, I have known her since middle school, was thrilled. Finally, I thought you'd never settle down. I wasn't settling. I was waiting for the right person. Well, Daniel is perfect. Rich, handsome, successful, and he actually respects your career. Most guys would be intimidated. He is pretty great. The wedding planning was going well. We'd picked a venue, a gorgeous estate on the San Juan Islands, guest list of 280 people, open bar, live band. Everything was perfect. Except for one small issue that kept nagging at me. Daniel had been pushing me to update my life insurance. Babe, we're about to be married. You need to make sure I'm your beneficiary on everything. I already did. I updated my will and insurance policies last month. How much life insurance do you have? 2 million? Is that enough? You should probably have more. You're CEO of a major company. If something happened to you, I'd need enough to cover...
Cover what? You have your own money. I know, but think about it. If you died, I'd have to manage your estate, the company transition, everything. That's a lot of work. You should have at least $5 million. $5 million? That seems excessive. It's not excessive. It's responsible. What if you got in a plane crash? What if something happened? I laughed it off at the time, but he kept bringing it up. Finally, I agreed, updated my life insurance to $5 million, made Daniel the primary beneficiary. That was 3 months ago, 2 weeks before my funeral. It's a Friday afternoon, beautiful May weather, sunny, clear skies. Mia texts me, "Girl, you need a break. When's the last time you took a day off?" I don't remember. Probably never? Exactly. Let's go flying. Just us, like old times. Mia had been my co-pilot on dozens of flights. She wasn't licensed, but she knew the basics. We'd taken trips together all through college. I can't just leave work. Yes, you can. You're the CEO. Delegate. Let's go to Vancouver for dinner. We'll be back by midnight. I thought about it. She was right. I'd been working 80-hour weeks planning the wedding and running the company. Okay, let's do it. I told my security team I was leaving for the day. They wanted to accompany me. No thanks, just me and Mia. Girls trip. My head of security, Robert, frowned. "Miss Chen, I really think..." "Robert, I'm going on a 4-hour flight. I'll be fine. I've been flying since I was 16. He reluctantly agreed. Mia and I drove to the private airfield where Chen Aviation kept several aircraft. I chose a Cessna Citation X, 6-seater, private jet, beautiful plane. I'd flown it dozens of times. We did the pre-flight check. Everything looked perfect. Took off at 3:47 p.m. The flight to Vancouver should have taken 90 minutes. We never made it. 47 minutes into the flight, at 4:34 p.m., something went wrong. The engine started making a horrible grinding sound, warning lights everywhere. "Avery, what's happening?" Mia's voice was panicked.
I don't know. We're losing pressure. And the engine... The left engine burst into flames. Fire. At 30,000 feet. In a plane. I tried everything. Emergency protocols. Contacted air traffic control. Looked for nearest landing strip. Nothing worked. We were going down. "Mia, put your oxygen mask on now. We're going to die. We are not going to die. Just trust me." I found a small clearing near the Olympic National Forest. Barely enough space to attempt a crash landing. We hit the trees at 174 miles per hour. The impact was, I don't remember much, just the sound. Metal tearing, Mia screaming, fire, then nothing. I woke up 3 days later, not in a hospital, in someone's cabin. An elderly woman was sitting next to me, checking my pulse. "Easy now, don't try to move. You've been unconscious for 3 days. Where am I? About 40 miles west of Port Angeles, deep in the Olympic Forest. I'm Dr. Sarah Bennett, retired. My husband and I live here. My friend, Mia, where is she? She's here too, other room, broken arm and ribs, but she's alive." Relief flooded through me. How did we... My husband heard the crash, saw the smoke. Took him hours to reach you. You were both unconscious. He couldn't get a signal to call for help. We're too remote. So he brought you here. We need to call someone. We did, yesterday. Sent our son into town with our truck. He contacted the authorities. Search and rescue is looking for you, but they're searching about 60 miles east of here. Wrong area. They think I'm dead? The search team must have found wreckage, but not the actual crash site. Your plane broke apart, parts scattered over miles. I kept reading.
Chen's fiancé, Daniel Morrison, released a statement. "I am devastated by the loss of the love of my life. Avery was an incredible woman, brilliant CEO, and my best friend. We were supposed to be married in 3 months. I can't believe she's gone. There was a photo of Daniel, looking appropriately grief-stricken. Then another detail caught my eye. Morrison, who was listed as the primary beneficiary on Chen's $5 million life insurance policy, will also inherit her 60% controlling stake in Chen Aviation, worth an estimated $204 million, according to sources close to the family. I read that line 3 times. Daniel was going to inherit $209 million from my death, plus whatever other assets I had. My house, my investment accounts, everything. Dr. Bennett was watching my face. Are you okay? I need to make a phone call. Signal is terrible here. You might have to go up the hill. I need to call my lawyer right now. I climbed the hill behind the cabin, barely had 2 bars of signal, called my attorney, Patricia Reynolds. Patricia Reynolds' office? Patricia, it's Avery. Silence. Hello? Avery. Avery Chen? Yes. Oh my God! Everyone thinks you're dead. Where are you? Are you okay? I'm fine. Crashed in Olympic Forest. Listen, I don't have much time. I need to know what happens to my estate if I'm declared dead. Your will dictates everything. Primary beneficiary for most assets is Daniel Morrison. The company would go to... How fast can someone be declared legally dead? In Washington state, usually 7 years for a missing person, but with clear evidence of death, like a plane crash, it can be expedited, maybe 6 months to a year with court approval. And life insurance? They typically wait for a death certificate, but with overwhelming evidence and no body, they might pay out sooner if the beneficiary pushes.
Would Daniel be able to access my assets before then? Some, yes. As your fiancé and designated executor of your estate, he could petition for emergency access to manage affairs. My hands were shaking. Patricia, don't tell anyone I called. What? Avery, people need to know you're alive. Not yet. I need you to trust me. Don't tell anyone. I'll explain later. I hung up before she could argue. I stood on that hill, looking at the forest around me. Daniel inherited $209 million from my death. The plane engine failed exactly 47 minutes into flight. He'd been pushing me to increase my life insurance for months. And his first words at my funeral? It worked. This wasn't an accident. Daniel tried to kill me. I spent the next 4 days in that cabin recovering and planning. Mia was in worse shape than me. Broken arm, 3 broken ribs, concussion. But she was alive. Are we really going to pretend to be dead? She asked. Just for a little while, until I figure out what Daniel did. Dr. Bennett's son, Marcus, drove into Port Angeles every day to get supplies and information. He brought back newspapers, news reports, everything about my death. I read every article, watched every news clip on Dr. Bennett's ancient TV. The narrative was consistent. Tragic accident, mechanical failure, no survivors. The NTSB, National Transport Safety Board, was investigating, but preliminary reports said it looked like engine failure. Nothing suspicious, except I'd flown that plane 100 times. I'd personally overseen maintenance. That engine was in perfect condition 3 days before the flight. I called Patricia again from the hilltop. Avery, you need to come forward. Not yet. I need you to do something for me, quietly. Check who serviced that plane in the week before the crash. Why? Just do it. Don't tell anyone. She called me back 6 hours later. The plane was serviced 3 days before your flight. Routine maintenance check. Signed off by... She paused. This is weird. What?
The mechanic who signed off was George Torres. But I called the maintenance facility. George Torres hasn't worked there in 2 months. He got fired for falsifying inspection records. My chest tightened. Someone used his credentials? Looks that way. Can you find out who actually accessed the plane that day? I can try, but Avery, this is starting to sound like... I know what it sounds like. That's why I need proof before I come forward. Over the next 3 days, Patricia dug deeper. She found maintenance records. Someone using George Torres's stolen ID badge accessed my plane on May 3rd. Security footage showed a man in maintenance coveralls and hat, face not visible. Life insurance. Daniel filed a claim with my insurance company on May 7th, just 4 days after the crash. Usually people wait weeks. He was in a hurry. Business moves. Daniel had already met with my company's board of directors, was positioning himself to take over as interim CEO to honor Avery's legacy. Financial records. Patricia accessed my joint account with Daniel. He'd withdrawn $85,000 cash 3 weeks before the crash. No explanation. Timeline. The crash happened on May 3rd. Daniel filed insurance claim May 7th. Met with my board May 9th. Started probate process May 10th. He was moving incredibly fast, like he'd been planning this. Patricia, I need you to look into something else. Daniel's previous relationships, ex-girlfriends, any history. Why? Just do it. She called back the next day. Avery, I found something. Daniel was engaged before, 6 years ago, to a woman named Jennifer Hastings. What happened? She died. Car accident. Single vehicle crash. Went off a bridge. I felt cold. Life insurance? $800,000. Daniel was the beneficiary. They'd been engaged for 4 months. Jesus Christ. There was an investigation, but it was ruled accidental. She'd been drinking. But Daniel inherited? Yes. Anything else?
He dated someone else between Jennifer and you, a woman named Alicia Monroe. They dated for a year. She broke up with him. 3 weeks later, she was in a boating accident. She survived, but barely. Did she have money? Her family is wealthy, but they weren't engaged, so he wouldn't have inherited. The accident was ruled... Avery, are you thinking what I think you're thinking? I'm thinking Daniel Morrison has a pattern of women around him having fatal accidents. And I'm thinking I need to stay dead a little longer. I spent another week in that cabin, planning. Dr. Bennett and her husband became my allies. They agreed to keep my survival secret. What you're describing is attempted murder, Dr. Bennett said. You need to go to the police. With what evidence? Everything is circumstantial. His previous fiancée died 6 years ago. That case is closed. The plane maintenance records show someone used stolen credentials, but I can't prove it was Daniel. All I have is suspicion. So what will you do? I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to follow the money. Patricia set me up with a secure laptop and anonymous internet connection. From that cabin in the woods, I started digging into Daniel's finances. I had access to everything. We'd shared some accounts. I knew his passwords. I'd helped him set up his investment firm's accounting system. What I found was worse than I imagined. Morrison Capital, Daniel's investment firm, reported assets under management, $80 million. Actual assets, $23 million. Missing, $57 million. He'd been running a Ponzi scheme, taking money from new investors to pay returns to old investors. Classic fraud. And it was about to collapse. He had angry investors demanding their money. He'd been dodging calls, making excuses. He needed a massive influx of cash, like $209 million from a dead fiancé. I found emails, encrypted, but I knew his encryption key. Email from Daniel to Marcus, his business partner, April 15th. The Chen wedding needs to happen soon. Once we're married, I can access her accounts
if something happens. But engaged isn't married. Need to either move up the wedding or find another solution.
Email from Marcus to Daniel, April 18th. Wedding is in 2 months. Can your investors wait that long? Email from Daniel to Marcus, April 20th. No, I need cash now. Working on Plan B. Plan B. 3 days later, someone sabotaged my plane. I had everything I needed, but I needed more than just evidence of his Ponzi scheme. I needed evidence he sabotaged the plane. Patricia, can you get me the security footage from the maintenance facility? All of it. Not just the day my plane was serviced. I want the week before. She got it. I spent 2 days watching grainy security footage. May 1st, 6:47 p.m. A man in maintenance coveralls enters the facility, swipes an ID badge. George Torres's badge. But George Torres was fired weeks ago. The man keeps his head down, hat pulled low, but he's too tall to be George. Different build. He goes straight to where my plane was parked. May 2nd, 7:23 p.m., same man, same routine. This time he's carrying a bag. May 3rd, 11:14 a.m., same man, leaves after 47 minutes, carrying nothing. 3 visits, always after hours, always alone. I enhanced the footage as much as I could with the tools I had. On the 3rd visit, May 3rd, he turned slightly, just for a moment. I froze the frame, enhanced it. A tattoo on his neck, partially visible. A compass rose. Distinctive design. I'd seen that tattoo before, on Daniel's best friend from college, Kyle Richardson. I searched Kyle's social media, found photos. There was the tattoo. Kyle and Daniel were in dozens of photos together, best friends since college. Kyle had a criminal record. I found it easily. Arrested for wire fraud 5 years ago, charges dropped. Arrested for identity theft 3 years ago, charges dropped. Daniel's muscle, his accomplice. I had him. That brings us to today. My funeral. I planned this carefully. Patricia arranged everything. I took Dr. Bennett's old truck, borrowed it, and drove to Seattle. Arrived this morning. Mia wanted to come, but she was still too injured. I checked into a hotel under a fake name, changed my appearance, cut and dyed my hair, wore sunglasses and a scarf.
Then I went to my own funeral. St. Michael's Cathedral, 300 people. All my friends, family, colleagues. My parents are in the front row, devastated. My mother is crying. My father looks like he's aged 10 years. I want to run to them, tell them I'm alive, but not yet. I need to hear Daniel first. Need confirmation. He's at the podium now, giving his eulogy. Avery was the light of my life. We were supposed to get married in 3 months. She was everything to me. Her brilliance, her kindness, her passion for aviation. She built an incredible company. She touched so many lives. And she made the luckiest man in the world when she agreed to marry me. He pauses, dabs his eyes. The crowd is eating it up. Then he steps down from the podium, walks to the front row, whispers to Marcus, his business partner. It worked. 2 words, but they're everything. Marcus nods, whispers back. Insurance confirmed. $5 million. Paid out next week. I've heard enough. I pull out my phone, text Patricia, now. 30 seconds later, police officers enter the cathedral from both sides. Detective Sarah Morrison, no relation to Daniel, thankfully, walks straight to Daniel. Daniel Morrison? Yes? What's... You're arrested for attempted murder, insurance fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy to commit murder. You have the right to remain silent. The cathedral erupts. Daniel's face goes white. What? This is insane. I didn't...
We have evidence of you hiring Kyle Richardson to sabotage Avery Chen's plane on May 3rd. We have financial records showing your Ponzi scheme and motive. We have emails between you and Marcus discussing Plan B. And we have security footage of Kyle accessing the plane using stolen credentials. That's not, I want my lawyer. You'll get one at the station. They cuff him. That's when I stand up, remove my sunglasses, pull off my scarf, and walk down the center aisle of the cathedral. The gasps are immediate. Avery! Oh my God! She's alive! My mother screams, actually screams, stands up and runs toward me. Avery! Avery!
I meet her in the middle of the aisle. She hugs me so hard I can't breathe. Mom, I'm okay. My father is right behind her, tears streaming down his face. He's never cried in his life. How? We thought the plane. I'll explain everything, but first, I turn to Daniel. He's staring at me like he's seen a ghost, because he has. Hi, Daniel. Surprise, I survived. His mouth opens, closes, opens again. Avery, I thought you were dead. I know. That was the plan, wasn't it? Sabotage my plane, kill me, inherit $209 million, pay off your investors, and keep running your Ponzi scheme. I don't know what you're talking about. Really? Because I have emails, financial records, security footage of Kyle sabotaging my plane, and I have this. I pull out my phone, play the recording from 30 seconds ago. His voice. It worked. Marcus. Insurance confirmed. $5 million paid out next week. The entire cathedral can hear it. Daniel's face crumbles. That's not what it sounds like. Save it. Tell it to the jury. Detective Morrison leads him away. Marcus tries to run. Doesn't make it 5 feet before officers grab him too. The cathedral is chaos. Everyone's talking at once. My phone is ringing off the hook. But I just stand there with my parents, holding them. You're alive, my mother keeps saying. You're alive. I am. I'm okay. I'm so sorry I scared you. How long have you known? About a week. I needed to gather evidence first. My father pulls back, looks at me. You've been alive for a week and didn't tell us? I had to stay dead. It was the only way to get him to confess. If he knew I was alive, he'd have destroyed evidence, run. I needed him to think he'd won. You could have died.
But I didn't. And now he's going to prison. 3 months later, Daniel's trial is underway. The evidence is overwhelming. Security footage of Kyle sabotaging the plane, forensic analysis confirming sabotage, financial records of Daniel's Ponzi scheme, emails discussing Plan B, the recording from my funeral. Kyle Richardson turned state witness, confirmed Daniel hired him. Daniel's facing attempted murder. 2 counts, me and Mia, insurance fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy to commit murder. Prosecutors are asking for 40 years to life. His previous fiancée's death, Jennifer Hastings, was also reopened. They're investigating whether that was murder too. Marcus is facing 15 years for conspiracy and fraud. Kyle got a plea deal, 10 years for testimony. As for me, I'm back at Chen Aviation, back in my office, back to running the company. Mia recovered fully. She's got some scars, but she's okay. We laugh about our crash landing survival story now, though it's still not that funny. My life insurance paid out to me since I'm alive. I used some of the money to give Dr. Bennett and her husband a new truck and a donation to the local hospital. They saved my life, literally. The rest, I invested it back into the company. I'm also single, obviously.
My mother keeps trying to set me up with nice boys from good families. Mom, I just survived my fiancé trying to murder me. I'm not dating anyone for a while. But you can't let one bad experience. Mom, no. I did get something good out of this whole nightmare, though. I learned exactly how resilient I am. I survived a plane crash, hiked through the forest injured, spent 2 weeks in a cabin with no cell service, investigated my own attempted murder, gathered evidence, confronted my killer at my own funeral, and won. I'm not the same person I was 3 months ago. I'm stronger, smarter, more careful, and I'm never trusting anyone with my life insurance policies again. Last week, Daniel's lawyer tried to contact me.
Wanted to offer a plea deal. Wanted me to ask the prosecutor to reduce charges. He made a mistake, the lawyer said. He was desperate. He never meant to actually hurt you. I laughed. He sabotaged my plane. That's pretty clear intent to hurt me. He's sorry. He's sorry he got caught. Tell Daniel I'll see him at sentencing. I'm giving a victim impact statement. I hung up. Yesterday, I got a letter from Daniel, from jail. Dear Avery, I know you probably hate me. I understand. I made terrible choices. I was desperate. The business was failing. I panicked. But I need you to know I did love you. That was real. Everything else got twisted because of the financial pressure, but my feelings for you were genuine. I'm so sorry for what I did. I hope someday you can forgive me. Daniel. I read it once. Then I burned it. Because you know what? I don't care if he loved me. Love doesn't sabotage someone's plane. Love doesn't try to murder someone for insurance money. Love doesn't steal $209 million from my estate. Daniel didn't love me. He loved my money. And when he couldn't get it legally, he tried to kill me for it. But he failed because I'm Avery Chen. I'm a pilot. I'm a CEO. I'm a survivor. And I'm not someone you can kill and walk away from. My name is Avery Chen. I'm 29 years old. I'm 29 years old. My fiancé tried to murder me by sabotaging my private plane. He thought I died in the crash. He collected on my life insurance, started taking over my company, gave a touching eulogy at my funeral. But I survived, and I came back from the dead to destroy him. He wanted my money, he got a prison sentence. He wanted my company, he got fraud charges. He wanted me dead, he got life in prison. I walked into my own funeral and arrested him in front of 300 people. The look on his face when he saw me alive, worth everything. Some people say I should have come forward immediately, that I put my parents through unnecessary grief. Maybe they're right.
But if I'd come forward right away, Daniel would have destroyed evidence, hired better lawyers, maybe gotten away with it. I needed him to think he'd won. I needed him to get comfortable. I needed him to confess at my funeral. And he did. Now he's spending the rest of his life in prison. And I'm living the life he tried to steal from me. Flying, running my company, spending time with people who actually care about me. People who wouldn't sabotage my plane for $209 million. Daniel once told me I was too trusting. He was right. I'm not anymore. And I never will be again. They wanted me dead. I came back to life. They wanted my money. I took their freedom. They wanted my silence. I testified at their trial. Sometimes the best revenge isn't complicated. It's just surviving and coming back to destroy the people who tried to kill you from beyond the grave.